Let's do the same drapery study with an orange Prismacolor. Sketch position. Soft lines, plastic lines, non-committal form, drawing everything at the same time. The first 20 seconds is the most important. So a lot of triangles. This is a drapery study that's held up by two pens here and here, and things are flouncing down from that. The energy is coming from that. So I can. Now this Prismacolor method, since we're starting with the light color here, they're hard to erase, but they're very forgiving in that you can just draw right over it. The pentamentos will be very light. Round, we've got this. All these shapes. I see a triangle here. I see a negative triangle here because that's the empty background. We don't want it too sharp. We don't want it too blunt. We want the height and the width. I've got this line coming across. It's like a belt right there. And there's a little dipsy-do roller coaster right here. So well, how about we just note that area like that for now. A little triangle here. And then there's kind of a bigger triangle that just kind of wedges in right here. So you get triangle, 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 triangle. There. So I'm looking for these general things first, the way they overlap, their position, their direction. Now I can proceed. And there's a line coming down here, and then a line coming down here. It's like an upside down arch right there. Or a mouth, a cartoon mouth there. Higher here, lower there. This goes in. And there's a certain number of conic folds that look like cones coming down from there. And I expect you to look and persist, and if there's 3, show 3. And if one's larger than the others, make sure that's larger than the others and make sure it's the right one. Now with this one we can punch in the darks early too. We don't have to wait till everything's perfect to punch in the darks. You'll see in a minute. So we've got this orange here, dark areas, and there's a line coming down here, and it's dark on this side. Dark in here, dark in here. See, this orange is dark, but as orange, but it stays orange, so it's still pretty light. And what we're going to do... Okay, I'm back for more. Work general to specific. So we want to know the main shapes first, the directions and the proportions, and then we move to the specificity. And build up. Continuing on here. It's hard to draw and talk, so I would just draw. Ordinarily, I would work the whole thing up together, but for the sake of a demonstration, I'm going to work on just part of the drawing. So get a nice and substantial, nice dark work with your color, be it orange or green or red or blue. Then when you come back with the black, you can accent it. You can work it out here. Nice reflection up in here. Nice reflected light right in here, right in this area. Okay. There's a nice area of reflected light right here. And I'm going to build a little fence around it so there's an underplan so I'll know where to stop. So I can preserve that. And then to the right here, this channel is darker. Lots of channels, lots of fractals. This edge is not rounded. There are subtle articulations, a little bit of a point right there. If it's round and smooth, make it round and smooth. But if there's convex concaves or dipsy-doos or little chunks and edges, pay close attention and articulate those little chunks and edges. Be it on the outline, around the perimeter, or contours within the form. Good thing this is on YouTube. You can just fast forward it. And keep in mind, I would be working all around there, but just for this demo, I'm focusing in one area. And this little area here, it's in the shadow, but it's not as dark as this part. That's why I kept it separate. And I'll put a veil over all of that to there. And you can see it darkens this and it darkens that, and there's still the difference. And look closely. Parts of the shadow are darker than other parts. There's a little modulation in there. Even in this big area, this big shadow, there's lots of little you see, I'm avoiding this for now, but just for the sake of the demo. And we want to build it up. See, the dark areas, they cover up that, in my case, orange. But we want to have a lot of orange under there so that it's rich looking. It's beefy. It has the effect of the two colors together. Otherwise, why not just draw it in black to start with? So we want some of that orange to breathe through there. And through time, it makes it richer and more satisfying. It's not just a drawing. The surface itself can attain a jewel-like character. We don't want. The goal is not to just make an image. We're making a drawing. And just the line quality, the shapes, the material on the surface can be enough. Isn't that enough? And it certainly should be part of it. Little details. You might see tiny little crinkles in there. We add those later, like this. You might see little frayed threads hanging loose. And we would add that at the end. If you have little crinkles, like in this spot right here, or over here, if you're looking at the reference, there can be little crinkles that need to be ironed out, and they're very complicated. But if you squint your eyes, it just goes away. And what you do is you just draw it. What you see with the squinting, your eye filters all that out, and then you draw the main things that jump out at you, the main shapes and edges. Make it dark where it's dark. And on my tablet, it's soft. That's the soft side. But I could use the tabletop for hardest, or I could go to the back side of this MDF board or this cardboard for a little more. It gets a little darker this way. Sometimes you need more back pressure. This part I'm not working on for this demo. It's an interesting part, but I'm just going to leave that alone. If you have a white Prismacolor, that works good for blending and smoothing these lighter areas. It won't make it white, but it works as a nice blender. And you can, if you were doing this with chalk, it shows up white chalk, or color black and white chalk. The white shows up very nicely, and the white Prismacolor is more of a blender for this situation. So if you have that, use that. Some of the areas might be hatchy, and then some of them could be patiently blended with different colors and white on top in the lighter areas to give it a nice finished, like shiny, polished look. And some of your areas you might go with some hatching and cross hatching, like this and like this. Depending on your style, you could have a blended